Welcome to the Partners Podcast, where you get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to entrepreneurs who are relentlessly building real, profitable companies. Join us as we ask them the hard questions so you can take away the mindset, strategy, and tactics that launch them to success. Welcome to another episode of the Partners Podcast, joined by my good friend of 4 years, Drew Wilke, Director of Business Development at Luxury Presence. How's it going today?
Doing well. Yeah, Brendan, great to be here. And really fun doing this. And especially on a Friday. So can't complain. Yeah.
I've seen Luxury Presence grow tremendously in the last 4 years. What are you guys all about and what do you guys do?
Yeah, so it's been almost 8 years since Luxury Presence was founded. Our Malti Kramer's the founder and CEO of Luxury Presence, and I've been there, coming up on 6 years, and it's been quite a ride with a lot of growth, serving only the real estate industry. We started out really with a web design platform and service for top producing agents. Our first 50 clients were all luxury, high-end, top producers in the industry. So we kind of built our brand and recognition, if you will, working really with the best. Then from there, Malti really saw an opportunity to build out a platform that could really serve agents and elevating their online presence in a way that wasn't being done in the industry. Since those days and to where we are now, we've really built out a full tech stack, a full platform that not only will we beautifully design your site, that's always been a differentiator, but help you provide agents, teams, and now brokers tools that can elevate their online presence and make them stand out more when it comes to what they're trying to do digitally. And now we're proud to say we've over 10,000 agents and teams on the platform. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are, from what it seems like, the powerhouse, like the Apple of real estate agent websites and technology. Can you tell me a little bit more about the evolution of the product and like how it's so much more than a website now? Like what exactly is it that you're offering when you say a tech stack? Like what is it that an agent gets when they sign up with you?
Yeah, for sure. So always want to start with, that site part, because that's what we actually launch them with during onboarding. They sign up with us. We do a whole design survey, understanding of their brand, really a dedicated onboarding experience, which I think is, also really important and kind of unique to kind of how we also specialize in only doing this in real estate. But really, once they're up and running, if they want to make a change to their site, if they want to go in and be able to, easily pull in new content or, I upload new, especially, knowing what you all do in video, we make it extremely easy. And the platform's only built for real estate. So I think the challenge that agents were facing before is that they're using Squarespace, WordPress, Wix, which are all great website platforms, but they're not optimized for real estate. Our platform, when you go in and you're actually in it, it's extremely intuitive. Like you said, I appreciate the Apple type. That really is an inspiration for us and how we think about the UI of everything we're doing. So I'd say first in the tech side, there's the UI. Then there's the tools that we built on top of that. We have a property website builder back there that directly integrates with the MLS, and you can launch a property website with, we call it our one-click property website tool. Within 30 seconds, you can have a property website live. We have a presentations and CMA tool as well, so you can create a beautiful listing presentation, also pulling in content from your website. So that's why we love partnering with you guys, because you get the content done so well, and then we get to showcase that in the website product. And then we've kind of created over time, like, an agent subdomain product. So you have a large team or a brokerage and they want mini sites off of the main site. Then their agents can have their own curated logins and their own experience. And once again, I think the big thing too, with any tools that we come out with, we're not just trying to come out with 20 tools or, here's all these things you can play around with and look at. That's also, I think, been a gap in the industry of like just throwing tools at agents. We're much more focused on quality over quantity, both with how our websites look and how our tools function. So when Luxury Presence is giving you a tool to use, it's going to be intuitive and it's going to have impact. And like moving forward, that's kind of our ethos with anything new that we build. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. You guys work with some big powerhouses, what, like Tom Ferry, Ryan Serhant, Don McKenna, right? Am I getting the names right?
Yeah, no, those are, we're proud to say we work with some of the industry's best or most recognized. Tom Ferry's a longstanding partner. Ryan Serhant's been a content partner and now a client. We just launched his new brokerage website, serhant.com. as well. So yeah, and many others that we are working with. Our CEO Malti also has his podcast, Presence Podcast, and is also interviewing many of those agents. So a good place to check out who we're working with. Yeah.
Super cool. So when it comes to like a content machine powerhouse like Sirhan,
Yeah.
Ryan Sirhan, that personality
Yeah.
is so strong. His YouTube, I see him on my feed constantly. I love clicking on his videos.
Yeah.
He's like an entrepreneurial like leader as well, teaching, business concepts and all of these other things that I benefit from. How does content at that level tie into a good website? How does it like meld together, and like how does the website serve Ryan and his team and his brand?
Yeah, your client like Ryan has a keen understanding of his brand and their brand now that has launched his own brokerage too, right? He went from being kind of like individual high producer TV star to now really being a powerhouse broker in the industry with a brokerage of 500 plus agents making a lot of noise in New York and down to all the markets they're serving, right? So he's now, obviously expanding that brand beyond just himself. But a client like that walks in the door, they know their brand, right? So our job is to make sure that we're understanding how we can best place their brand, through the website and the impression that's making to consumers. And that's really where the website is that it's the first impression, right? I mean, impressions on a website are made within 5 seconds. I mean, there's data that shows that subconscious thing in our head, we form an impression when we see that visual. And I'm sure you all deal with that too, with all the video content you're doing. You have to make sure like that first impression aligns with not only what your client expects, but also what they're trying to get from the consumer. And sometimes that can clash a bit, right? Your client wants one thing, and then our expertise says, well, the consumer prefers this, and that's how we're going to optimize on your website, right? So I think we come in with that subject matter expertise of like how it should be positioned on your website, how lead capture should be done, how your video should be in the opening fold and form, how that homepage can be optimized not only so it's presenting you best to the consumer, but also so you can actually get leads, right? Because you want high performing sites and good looking sites at the same time. So it's, tech meets taste, if you will. It's kind of what we're always thinking about luxury presence. How do you make sure the two are being combined together? So client, Sirhan's just great to work with because they can really press you on those areas and you're going to end up with an amazing product, which we were able to do. Yeah.
For sure. And you have thousands of agents, and I'm sure there's agents that have very little experience with content creation, with branding. How do you balance like what they're looking for and their, I guess, inexperience with getting them to where they need to be with the
Yeah.
content, with the visuals, with the digital presence? How do you make sure that, because like you and I talked before, a website without great content, like you can only do so much with
Exactly.
like fonts and blocks of colors and
Right.
cool scroll effects. It's got to be visual. So how do you get an agent that might not have much content or much brand at all, like
Yeah.
that hasn't taken a headshot or a portrait in the
Yeah.
last 3 years? How do you bring them up to speed at Luxury Presence?
No, it's a really good question. Because like our mission is to help everyday agents and brokers become standout entrepreneurs, right? We love that mission and we feel like it's bold. We feel like it ties into our product. But to your point, we're not doing everything for the client, right? We have to be able to be an advisor in a lot of these, conversations and set expectations. I would say that's the first thing I'd say here is we're very consultative during our sales process. So during the sales process, understanding are you new to the industry? Are you maybe new to real estate, but came from a marketing background? Because you worked with a lot of clients there and they really understand the need for content. Sometimes you're working with an agent who's been in the industry and had success for 10, 15 years, but they haven't really leveraged content so much, right? So they're like, well, I've been successful with sales, but marketing hasn't really been my thing, right? So diagnosing that, we have our ideal customer profiles and our team is experienced and trained on that. And obviously we have tenured employees who understand and have worked with agents over time to make sure we're setting the right expectations. I think number one. Number two, I would say is if they don't have that curated custom content, what's their budget to go get some of that? And like knowing like there's so many, I mean, I'm sure you all deal with this all the time. There's so many you can do all this. You could do videos every single day. I mean, there's some agents who have video crews following them, but they have the budget to do that, right? We always recommend at least go invest in at least one or two high quality videos, because then you can snippet those down and reuse some of that content, right? Like a lifestyle video that really shows your brand, which why we love partnering with you all, because if they have that, that can be used in a multi-purpose way, right? So I'd say number two is advising on where they can go invest in their own content, because we really want to make sure that we are getting something that's personalized, unique to them. Because to your point, the best sites are the ones that have unique content, hands down. Doesn't matter how good the platform is. We can do a lot with our platform and some of our design layouts, but that unique content is always going to shine through. And then number three is, what can we do if they don't have custom content today to still support their online presence, right? So, we do integrate with stock photography and stock video options, and help with that, to at least have a jump start. Obviously, unique content's always the ideal, right? But to have that other option available. So I think still having content for our clients, and even when if it's not even just video or photography, but neighborhood content. So we have a integration with Live By on our site. So all of that neighborhood data comes onto the pages now that you're going to get with a luxury presence site. So, once again, us taking the lead where appropriate, but at the end of the day, unique content's always king. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that local presence around like bringing in that like local information and data. Like, what trend do you see around agents and becoming like local experts? Is that something that you're building around? Because I see a lot of YouTubers find a lot of success, like agents that are on YouTube find a lot of success with that. And I've
Yeah.
personally helped a lot of agents spotlight their neighborhoods. Um, how can agents better brand themselves to become a powerhouse in their local market?
I think we get a lot of agents who come to us and say, I work in Los Angeles, right? Sometimes, I mean, Los Angeles might as well be six cities in one, as someone who used to live in Los Angeles, right? So, and if your target market's Los Angeles, I get if you're hustling, you'll take a listing, whether it's in Venice to Silver Lake up to Pasadena. That's great. That's fine if you'll do that behind the scenes, but how do you want to present yourself to the consumer with the impression, with your brand that you're putting out there? So we really try to advise those agents on what is your differentiated market? Like, what's your number one or number two pockets that you really want to be known for? Not only because it'll be easier to associate you from a branding perspective, and sounds like you all are facing that too in your conversations. But second, for actual marketing tactics, this is kind of getting more into like SEO now as we talk about local content. If you're really going to invest in like hiring a firm like us, or whether you're hiring another marketing firm to help you with really custom local content, you have to be strategic. Because if you take this throw it all over the place approach and just write content high level for everything, you're not going to get ranked on Google for much at all. Versus if I say I'm going to focus on Silver Lake and Echo Park and these neighboring areas, and really write specific content, even down to like the new local businesses that are popping up, or I'm going to have hyper focus and be consistent on that same location over time, that's what's going to get you ranking on search and actually help your brand. And actually what you, at the end of the day, what agents and teams want is more people coming to them, which leads to more conversations, which leads to warm leads, which leads to closed transactions. That's the funnel we're all trying to get to, right? With all the services we're offering, right? So it's not only important for how you present yourself and just how the consumer is going to be like, okay, I can associate Brendan with this location, right? But also using you as an example, but also just for actually tack the tactics that make sense when it comes to Google and the search engines and how they're actually going to rank you. Yeah.
Yeah, makes absolute sense. Because I think in so many ways, like I'm coming from the business realm, and every entrepreneur is taught like niche down, right?
Yeah.
Same with the agent. If you don't like have an association with a city, with a neighborhood, there's a million there's not million, but there's thousands of agents in each city trying to be the best agent in Tampa, best agent in Dallas. But like, what neighborhoods are you specializing in? What type of clients are you trying to reach? All of that goes into the branding strategy, I'm sure, that you have to build around when you design a website for them. So it makes total sense.
And I'll just add to that point. We practice what we preach at Luxury Presence. We only do websites, marketing. Now we have a mobile app product in real estate only, and mostly residential real estate. Like, commercial can be a fit sometimes. So we view the same perspective. Like, we're niche within real estate. We get requests frequently for other industries and businesses to help with their sites because they like our designs, but we'll respectfully, turn them to another website provider because we're real estate only, and that's where we want our niche to be. So, right. So you gotta, I think for marketing firms too, it's also practicing what you preach to your clients,
Yeah.
right? So we're all about that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to want to take every opportunity until you realize the
Yeah.
biggest opportunity is focusing on the one right in front of you.
Yeah.
So when it comes to return on investment, if I'm an
Mhm.
agent investing in a website, like how do I get my money back? How do I get my money's worth? Like I think that's a big question, right? Because a lot of agents they get thrown so many options of like, hey, we can run ads for you. We can create this funnel. We're going to write blogs. We're gonna,
Yeah.
get you on a podcast. We're gonna, help you send out mailers. There's just so many angles for agents on top of like the traditional route,
Yeah.
door
Yeah.
knocking, open houses, all of that. How is luxury presence a good ROI for agents, and how do they quantify it?
Yeah, it's a conversations we're always having up front, before an agent ever signs up with us. And we've actually curated 4 distinct packages for agents and teams that speak to different levels of investment and then different expectations for ROI. So I'd say if you're an agent and you're trying to figure out, whether you're talking to luxury presence or another marketing firm or whoever, how do I get my ROI value? It's really about what is the expected tactic and what's being done. And then from that specific tactic to ROI, I think is really important. So I'll start with like, if we think about just a website, right? ROI on a website. Well, I think it's almost table stakes to some extent to have a presence today, right? So it's like, if you look at NAR data, I think it's 97% of buyers from 2022 reported started their home search online, somewhere in the 90%, right? Like, so meeting your consumer where you're at, they're going to be online, they're going to be finding you there. So the ROI on a website is just like meeting your consumer where they're actually going to find you, where that they're going to actually see that first impression. And uh, you know, yeah,
I wanted to add to that. Like, there's
yeah,
been
yeah,
people
yeah.
messaging me on like randomly on text, and I'm like, hey, link me to your website. I'll check it out. And they're like, I don't have a website, and I'm just like, no, thank you. I'm good. Like, if you don't even have like, it's just like an expectation, right? It's just
Yeah.
like if you don't have even a website, how can I take you seriously that you're actually in this industry and you've had a track record and you have experience if you don't even have a website, right? And so, like, I agree, it's a baseline. If you don't have a website, it's almost embarrassing. Like, if someone's going to ask you, hey, do you have a website? Or I'll check out your website, and you're like, I don't have one. Like, that's not a good situation to be in for any agent or anyone that's
It's
running a
almost like
business.
it's flipping the script a bit. It's like, it's not like always like, what's the direct ROI by having this website? Am I going to get tomorrow? It's like, well, if I don't have this website, what's everything I'm missing on? Right. That's almost like the way to like, think about it a little bit. But, and then there's lots of ways you can optimize your site to perform best in real estate. And that's where we'll come in and say, okay, can we agree that having a website is going to be powerful for your business because it's going to be hard to be viewed as a business owner or entrepreneur without a website? And usually the answer is yes to that, right?
Yeah.
So
I think,
baseline,
yeah,
yes.
the majority is 90% people agree with that at this point.
Right. The 10%, let's go have a, we can still fight it out, right? We'll have a
Yeah.
conversation and we're always open to hearing the perspectives. But then it's really about, okay, how can we now it's like, who do I go to do my website? Why should I go with luxury presence? Why should I go with versus somebody else? And that's where we can come in and talk about our expertise and how we optimize our sites and who we're working with and having that conversation. But I do want to talk about ROI, not just from the website to answer your question, but also from marketing tactics. Because yes, there's the website piece, but there's also like, okay, you're saying I should be running ads to generate awareness or get leads. I should be doing more. And we talked about local content, SEO so far in this conversation, right? Or what do I think about when it comes to my social media, right? All of those are different tactics that actually have different expectations of ROI, right? So if you're running ads, you're going to start seeing traffic coming into your site sooner rather than later because you're paying for that placement, right? Whether it's a Google, social, LinkedIn now offers the ability for recruiting ads, which is worth looking at if you're growing a brokerage or team. Um, and we're actually timing this week, we just launched our AI lead nurturing tool. So not only are we helping you capture the lead, but actually nurture it with a conversation, which is helping a lot with conversion data for our clients. So we're able to actually show you, hey, if you bring a lead in and then use our AI tool, here's how many times you're going to get a warm handoff and conversation. And then from there, look, you're the agent. Your job's to go do what you do best and do the closing. We're not going to be there to do that part with you, but we can help you a lot to get you someone that's worth spending your time with, right? So that's how we think about ROI on the ad side. SEO, it's a long-term game, right? So SEO, we're very clear in expectations. If you start investing in local custom content and in 3 months you're upset you're not getting a lead or ranking yet, then either that expectation conversation didn't happen correctly, or because SEO can take 12 to 24 months to really build those organic rankings. But once you have it, it is an extremely powerful driver to get really warm people who are actually doing those searches on their own, seeking you out online and finding you on those curated searches, which is why even going back to the whole niche part, focusing on your niche and your differentiator is even more important because it's competitive, right? Um, so I would say once again, ROI, we absolutely own that conversation and welcome it, but we very much bucket it by what strategy we're doing versus like just generally what's my ROI luxury presence, because there's different avenues of how you can work with us and also invest in marketing in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are those tiers? Like there's like the basic, hey, we can get you a website that just like builds a brand for you and
Yeah.
makes you not look like a nobody agent. And then what are the levels beyond that? Like what are your like biggest agents
Yeah.
investing in and that keep investing with you doing?
Yeah, so our first two levels are more about focusing on the brand, the site itself, and then also offering you our tech tools, right? And I would say the term ROT, maybe like return on time. I think that's something worth looking at as well. I think ROI is always talked about, but let's face it, agents are business owners and they're entrepreneurial and they're out there doing a lot, right? And where do you outsource your time? And that's where I think some of our tools that we've actually built in the platform, property websites, presentations that are easy to create, can save you time that has a significant ROI as well, right? So our first two packages speak to like building your presence and then those tech tools. And then, yeah, our larger packages, our Leads Pro and SEO Pro programs are more focused on those marketing strategies. We have clients they're spending anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000, 5,000 plus a month on marketing, right? And that really goes back to the specific strategies that are getting them results, whether it's long tail organic content or those, lead strategies that are bringing in leads quicker that they're paying placement for. Another data point we have too, I think is worth mentioning in this conversation. We did a survey with 1,000 of our clients who are decent producers, and looked at how many, not just what they were doing with luxury presence, but surveyed them in general. What are you doing as far as marketing strategies and spend? We wanted, we have this great client base. Let's learn from them. And we found a real correlation. If you're doing 5 or more marketing strategies, that your GCI has a significant kind of increase, if you will. There's a correlation there about 250K GCI and up once you hit that 5 or more marketing strategies. So diversification and doing multiple strategies is also really important, because you're not just going to can't put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to ROI, right? So making sure you're doing multiple marketing strategies and figuring out what do I do myself versus outsourcing, and making those time decisions as well. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, that reminds me of like I do a lot of consulting for agencies and business owners, and it's a simple trade, right? Like if you want to level up and get to the $1 million a year mark, you got to first treat your time like extremely valuable.
Yeah.
And the whole trade you have to make to get there is trade your time for more money by leveling up your skills and focusing on high value generating activities, and then trade your money for more time because you only have a finite amount of time. And if you can make that trade consistently, there's no reason why you don't keep growing your income. So I love the perspective you put there on return on time, because a lot of people are like looking like, what's my return on investment? Okay, what do you
Yeah.
even define as a successful return? Like, is it you're getting your time back? Is it getting, more branding, awareness? Like, and if you start getting into nuances, it gets really tough to measure. And it's like, is it even worth measuring? Or you gotta just follow an intuition. Like, how many people are going to your website when you interact with them, when you advertise online? Okay, you obviously want to make an investment on making that website nice. It's just like, you know, if you're running a hotel and you're expecting 1,000 guests every single month, are you not going to make the lobby nice? And the
Yeah.
website's kind of like the lobby for your business on the digital
Like
side.
that. Yeah. 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 It is. Yeah. 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 That's well said. And then look, we sell real estate, right? Our clients sell real estate. Agents and brokers and teams are out there it's a physical visual thing, and now you can do things with 3D tours and a lot of the tech that's coming out that allows you to have this more meta experience with real estate, which is really interesting. And we have some cool prop tech companies that are investing in that space. Obviously, unique content and just actually getting into the home and filming it the right way. You got to put that content somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to invest in the right content in an industry that is so lifestyle, so visual based, right? And what we're
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
It's definitely a centralized tool for a lot of stuff, like for hosting content. You mentioned for like listing presentations, even like
Mhm.
having the website as the tool for enhancing the listing presentations. That's something that we believe in a lot as running media agencies. Like, hey, the content we're going to provide you is going to enhance your listing presentation, and all the agents need to figure out where am I going to put that, on a Canva doc, or I'm going to put it on a website where I'm actually able to drive traffic to more consistently in a better way. So totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you break down though, like successful agents out there? Do you see a trend in them investing more, like the ones that are investing a lot with you on the higher end websites and
Mhm.
SEO and all of that? What type of budget are they appropriating towards creating like visual content, videos, lifestyle photos, things that speak a little bit more of towards their local market and what they're doing as well?
Yeah, I mean, all of them at least are investing in that one or two at a minimum, lifestyle video. I would say one that's about their local market. I mean, this is where ACRE comes in and everything you all do, and you're on the ground helping make that happen. But I think that lifestyle video, and then I'd say a brand video on top of that, that really speaks more to who they are and why use me as an agent, right? Or what, speaks to their bottom line, if you will. So, but in the day, they're selling the lifestyle in their area. So that piece is really important to make sure you still are investing in that. So I'd say the minimum, like any real, power player in the market is doing at least those two, which, quality is going to run you in the thousands to do that. But if you have the right partner like ACRE, you can make sure you're getting the best value for your spend because you're working with someone who knows real estate and has done this with other top producers, right?
Absolutely.
And then I'd say there's the ongoing content and the ones who are obviously we've talked about Ryan Serhant today and some of the agents who have an impressive social media presence where they're keeping up with their content. And some of that's I say you can do that, at home, right? You can have the right high quality camera or even on your iPhone today, it's pretty amazing what you can still do. And then whether you have a social person like outsourcing it to a company like us or a manager in-house that's actually cutting up the content for you and getting it out there because that's time consuming, right? So that goes back to that ROT, return on time. Like, and that's where you say about investment, we have a social package that's 1,500 a month. That's not cheap, but the value of us doing 24 posts a month, editing for you, doing reels for you, you have to provide us your own unique content. We'll go out and help with maybe local stock or look at local businesses and things that we can do to prop you up in your community. But anything, brand wise is coming from you, but we'll take that amount of time it takes to actually make that social ready or reproduce it over longer periods of time, or the strategy of the hashtags, or when I should post, or how many platforms should I be doing? Which ones are optimized best for my area versus different markets, right? So that's where like I said, that social package we have is the ROI really. I'd say a lot of that one is more of a time-based one. Obviously, we want the ROI too to be growing your brand, increasing followers and your presence, but it's time consuming. I think social and creating content is always more time consuming than people think. And I think that's I don't know how you feel, but I feel like the two reasons agents are intimidated to like start producing their own content is one, just face on camera, comfortability hearing our own voice, just getting used to that, right? Second is, I mean, I think it's just the time. It's like, okay, like I forget the number of tasks a real estate agent has to do before closing is pretty enormous, right? So that's just like another thing on top of not only being my own CEO, COO, and kind of CTO to figure out the right tech. Oh, now I have to do my own social and marketing too. It's like a lot on their plate, right? So, like I said, I mean, what people are spending really varies. I'd say there's the fixed cost of like the one or two professionally done videos that we think is really almost like table stakes if you're trying to be like a power player in your market. And then there's the ongoing spend you could do if you want to outsource maybe the ongoing content development and social. Yeah.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And what about the trends that you're seeing, because you talk with 800
Yeah.
or you have 10,000 agents. Last time I
Yeah.
checked it was 8,000. You guys are just crushing,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not too saturated for the agents using you, that they're still getting, I know the higher ones are getting like the custom solutions, and you're serving, I mean, there's what, how many agents are there in the US?
Yeah, I mean, you think you break it down, I think it's 1.6 million have their license. I mean,
Okay. You
so
work
there's
with
a
a lot of the
lot of,
top players though. So
there's
what,
a lot out there that have their license. Now, obviously, the ones we feel like we're the best fit for an agent who's full time. This is their main. They're not doing this part time because, if you're going to invest in your presence at the level we're doing it, we want to make sure this is something you're doing full time. But yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So because you work with some of the top producers
yeah,
out there that are very much taking everything seriously,
yeah.
from marketing to how they're running their operations and business, what trends are you currently seeing, and how is luxury presence staying kind of at that forefront of providing these solutions that serve where this industry is going?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is what's happening with consumers, right? Like consumers being, when I say consumer, I'm really talking about the buyer and seller here, or the client of our client, if you will, of course.
Mhm.
The amount of tools and information we just have in general is more than ever before, especially now. I mean, we've gotten pretty far in this podcast without bringing up AI. I think that's pretty impressive considering if we were talking on a tech podcast and AI is not mentioned the first 5 minutes. I think that's kudos to both of us, but
Yeah.
still worth mentioning because you have to kind of still mention it. And we're doing a lot there with empowering our product to help with that automation, right? So I think we have a belief that AI is not going to solve all your problems of tomorrow, but they can help you make yourself more efficient for some of the problems from today, right? I think that's the distinction. Is like AI is not going to be the one solve solution. I think if you're thinking that way, I would try to reframe it, but it can definitely make you more efficient. So first, that how we're dealing with that trend, we're making our platform more efficient and easier to use, right? We just launched our AI lead nurturing. Now leads are getting nurtured by our texting tool within our platform. That's going to help agents save a lot of time and also using the amazing machine learning technology that we have today. Second, we're looking at how we can use AI to help evaluate content, not replacing content, but evaluate content. Because if you're just using this, goes back to being a full safe solution where I would not recommend using AI to write all of your blog posts and post them because Google's algorithm may not exactly give you the rankings you want there. But still, can it make you more efficient how you outline your ideas and thoughts when it comes to producing content, right? I think there's a lot of practices I'm sure you all are looking at ACRE on how you can use AI just to, reproduce content or do it in a way that's still being
Yeah, all
authentic to
across
your
the board, right?
brand,
It's just
right?
enhancing workflows
So,
like video editing with
yep,
like pre-production, coming up with scripts,
yeah,
ideas for content. It's just enhancing the workflow, and it's only as powerful as the wielder, right? The tool is only
right,
as valuable as the person using it. And so definitely, just like what you're doing, we're leaning into AI as well, like that texting bot that you just mentioned for the
yeah,
AI lead
yeah,
nurture system. That's something that we're looking into for
nice,
our agencies, and I would actually love to learn if that's even a
yeah.
standalone product, because I know a lot of agent, like, is that going to be a standalone product, or is that something that's only
No,
available?
it would be if you're on our platform. It's built into our
Uh,
platform, so it is part of the platform where because then but you don't have to necessarily. We have a program where you can hire us to run
yeah,
advertising campaigns for you. But if you're like, hey, I run my own ads and I just want help with the nurturing, you can just add the add-on can be standalone within our platform. So you don't
makes
have to
sense.
hire us to run all the marketing, but you can just use the nurturing tool.
So let's
Um,
talk about money. What's the base price to just get in the door with luxury presence? Because it sounds like you guys aren't. One second, someone's getting in the door. I grab the door real quick, and so he doesn't
oh
ring the
yeah.
doorbell again. We'll clip this up real quick. Sí. Hey, baby, can you translate what he's saying? Yeah. ¿Cómo está? De última, la dirección para abajo, está rojo. Okay, yeah. Esta es la factura y la garantía, ¿listo? Yeah, 1 second. Getting a furniture delivery. Be like 2
You're good.
minutes if you're good.
You're good. You're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we're coming close to the time we set, so we'll wrap it up. Actually, I might skip the question about price because if people are interested, they need to just
Yeah, it's up
contact
to you. I mean, we're no need to plug that all for. I mean, the only thing is we're doing a $500 off for anybody who gets the QR code on the podcast. You don't do that. We don't have to talk about that during the podcast, but we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So let's just talk about like I guess to wrap this podcast up, let's talk about the future of collaboration, between potentially other agency owners that are doing the real estate media side, the content side, the
Yeah.
visual, creation of photos and video. How can they best work with luxury presence, and how do you see that like dynamic evolve as we realize that both sides are very important?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been growing our affiliate program. I think it's always trying to find the right fit of making sure our product suite is the right fit for whatever that agency is serving, right? But if it's an agency that's unique to real estate, they're not obviously looking to do sites for agents, which most agencies are not when they actually try to get into that space. So we have a lot of agencies who kind of refer that business, and we definitely have an affiliate payout system
I
or
can relate. There's a few people I know, including myself, that got into agent websites, and I'm just like, this is a lot of work for not that much money. And I know a company like yours has gotten to a point where you guys have that, workflow that makes it a lot more efficient and makes it worthwhile. But yeah, it's a lot of work, to build a good website that connects to the MLS,
Yeah,
that
the data piece
connects
is
to
the big
everything else, like
one.
it's not like, hey, let me just craft one up on
Yeah.
Wix, because I have done a few on Wix and it's just like the functionality is so limited.
Yeah, right, right. So I think in the specialty of what our agents, they really do deserve having a solution that can meet their needs, right? I think that's why we've luxury presence has kind of, been a success story here because that's there was a need for that in the industry and fulfilling that problem, right? That's what any of us are doing, what you all are doing with your content services and being niche in real estate. We're problem solving for our clients. But digress there a little bit, but yeah, partnering with agencies is something we're always open minded to. As we talked about today, we're very focused on what our platform is, what our areas of focus are with our clientele. So agencies that are recommending us as a preferred website partner or platform partner with some of the tools that I mentioned today. That's a conversation we're always worth having. And we have partnerships at luxury presence .com, just reaching out to that inbox. We have a whole partnerships team that can start that conversation and kick it off. And then I'd say it's not a one size fits all approach. We really try to like have that conversation, understand who your clients are, and try to craft how we can work together, based on the fit there, right? And then yeah, we always like to try to give some kind of incentive to your clients if you're promoting us. So we all have with you and whether it's something off our setups or some preferred pricing model, that's always a conversation we can have
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I think there's a pretty strong incentive for us to refer opportunities to each other.
Yeah.
You guys are working with some of the top producing agents, 10,000 top producing agents, and I think right now we're close to around 60, 70 real estate media agency owners that are all
Yeah.
also working, anywhere between with anywhere between like 100 to several hundred, if not thousands of decently producing agents as well that might not have a good website solution. So we do have an offer that Drew, Lindsay,
Yeah.
we all put together, myself, Adrian on our team. So if you're listening and you're an agency owner that's looking to refer out an opportunity, there's an incentive for you, that we can talk about, but there's also more importantly an incentive for your agent that you're serving, that they can get $500 off, setting up a website, setting up, not just the website, the whole tech stack with
Yeah.
Luxury Presence.
Yeah.
And the one that seems like it's growing pretty nice, and you guys are investing heavily into. You guys just raised a round right recently,
Yeah.
and all of
Raised
that's going to R&D, right? That's all
R&D.
tech.
I'll quick plug what we're excited about. We're a couple of weeks. We're about to officially launch our new mobile app product called Presence Copilot. It's going to be a home search app, and going back to trends in the industry, meeting consumers where they're at. I mean, obviously, we know consumers are using the consumer search portals, your Zillows, your Redfins of the world, but powering the agent to give the consumer a more personalized experience through mobile. We have a feature called collaboration boards where you can pin multiple saved searches under one board. The UI is beautiful and follows the experience you'd expect from what if you worked with Luxury Presence. And then we're really excited about it. It's also going to have some AI that's going to help summarize notes for you and produce some note-driven content on the app to make you more efficient. Our first cohort of clients is actually going live with it in just, I believe, 2 weeks here, or end of the month in February. So anyway, to your point, yeah, R&D investment, we're putting the money back into the business to help agents solve problems and keep at it, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, we're super
that's
excited.
awesome. And I guess how does Luxury Presence versus like Zillow and Redfin come into play with all that? Because it seems like you
Yeah.
guys are getting more into that space,
Yeah.
and like actually giving agents
Yeah.
a fighting chance against some of these, real 700-pound gorillas that are
Yeah.
are 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 pushing agents out while trying to get their business at the same time.
Yeah, what I could just say to that is we built this business direct to agent from the very beginning. That's always been our client, the one we were trying to problem solve for, and that has not changed, 8 years later, as the business has evolved, right? And I think that's our everybody who's at Luxury Presence, our entire employee base, is kind of aligned on that mission, right? So we're not distracted by trying to serve other audiences, I'll say on that topic. So I think with this product, why we're really excited about it is we're going to be opportunity for agents, to be able to add more personalization and initiate that home search experience through a product that they're going to really enjoy using. If the agent enjoys using it, they'll want to get their consumer or their clients on it, right? That's our belief, and that's what we've seen with the website product. And we're going to have a white label solution too. So that's going to be a higher level of investment. But if you want to create your own custom app, actually, Dawn McKenna was our beta for this, one of the top producing agents and teams in the country. And her team's had an amazing experience already using it with their branding downloadable from the App Store as the DMG app, right? So something else to keep in mind too is that, yeah, we're always all about, promoting the agent and team's branding, and this product's gonna be no different. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's where ACRE partner, our creative network,
Yeah.
aligns a lot with Luxury Presence, and what you're looking to do is we're solely focused on building the agent, building their brand, helping them enhance, their business, and not trying to take that spotlight from them. So I love all that, and I think that's, you know, something that we can end on a beautiful
Yeah.
note on, is like we're building the future for the real estate space together, with this focus on helping agents level up their tech stack, their business on all fronts. So thanks again, Drew, for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Brandon. Great conversation, and love partnering with you all. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.